Here in the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland in lovely Lenox, Alabama. About to have a thunderstorm out there tonight. It is August the 15th, 2025. Tonight, open mic. If you have a comment or question, if you believe in evolution, especially, please call in. We'd like to get you converted. Here's your chance. Show me where I'm wrong. I teach evolution is the dumbest and most dangerous religion in the history of the world. Prove me wrong. And it's nothing but a religion. You have to believe in evolution. We never see a cow produce a non-cow or a dog produce a non-dog. Never. Nobody ever has. But you guys got dogs and cows and broccoli, not broccoli, carrots, all connected with lines on your paper, your chart, which is real stupid. Okay, we're here to help. We really want to help you. We're on all kinds of channels, everything but YouTube, even though a bunch of people play us on YouTube too. And please do. All of you with a YouTube channel, put my stuff on your channel, please. Okay. We're on, let's see, Facebook and Rumble and X and our own app, KentHovind.tv, and Instagram and TikTok and all that kind of stuff. So be sure to subscribe and share this with somebody else. Here we are. August the 15th, 2 weeks from the beginning of boot camp. So come on down to see our creation boot camp. We got some good creation speakers coming in. And some going to come by Skype or Zoom or something, right? Okay. Boot camp. There we go, right there. Call 855 Big Dino extension 4 if you want to advertise your creation ministry. I want to help thousands of other creation ministries get started. I'll share with you a few tonight. Okay. You can join our 777 club. Say, I like what you're doing. I'm going to support you guys for $1 a day, $30 a month. We don't check on it, don't charge nothing. Everything's free here. Well, free to the visitors. It ain't free to live here. Believe me, we spend about, okay, our website, drdino.com. Thousands of visitors from all over. Let's see. Okay. This guy did an interview with me. I forget when it was. Hearts for Christ. He's got 15,000 and 16,000 subscribers. Subscribe to his channel to help him out, okay? He did an interview with me about dinosaurs, evolution, and 900 meetings a year. That's what I was teaching when I was teaching on science, traveling all over the world. That's what I was teaching, speaking 900 times a year. He said, see the comments off of this channel. I appreciate Kent's simple logic. He explained things so well. I want to go there. Somebody responded, absolutely. Cloudy Bowels. Cloudy, why don't you call for a debate, you coward? Okay. He certainly is simple and not a doctor at all. Well, I've got 3 earned doctor's degrees. If you don't like it, call me Kent. I don't care. 1 honorary degree. How do you define doctor? A title awarded to a person holding a doctorate from an accredited university. Well, Cloudy, if someone got a doctor's degree in South Korea and came over here, would you still call them doctor? Maybe their accreditation process is different than here. Huh? By the way, if a person goes to a school in America and gets a doctor's degree and comes out believing they're related to a potato and they came from a rock, which came from a dot of nothing, I don't respect their intelligence or degree much either, but I'll call them doctor. It's unrelated to the argument. It's a straw man, okay? Let's see. I love Dr. Hovind, but disagree with him about the tribulation. Here, this guy, this is from a couple of years ago, I guess. I don't know. 4 years ago, okay. This guy said, during the evolution debate, none of these topics should have to be discussed. Big Bang. Okay, Jer Haugen, I know why. Because you guys don't have an answer for where time, space, matter came from, which is why you don't have a coherent theory. You want to start with living things. Sorry, no. Give an answer. Where did time, space, matter come from? How did life get started? You want a planetary formation. You don't want to talk about that. That is part of your theory. All of this life is evolving on a planet called Earth, isn't it? Where did Earth come from? How did it form? How do you get a big bang where things explode going outward, all directions, like fragments from a hand grenade or spokes on a bike wheel? And then way out there, they come back together and make a planet. Explain how that happens. The longer you wait, the farther apart they get. How can anybody not see that? Joseph, what am I doing wrong? How can they not see that? There is no chance of those particles getting together out there. And you say the dot expanded in a billionth of a billionth of a billionth of a second to greater than the size of a galaxy. Then the parts are really getting far apart. They're not going to pull each other back together to make anything. Sorry, okay. But you got to explain that. Chemical evolution, that's where hydrogen turns into gold, silver, platinum. I'd like to see that, okay? Abiogenesis, the beginning of life. You don't want to talk about that. I think all these things are essential to the evolution creation debate. Okay. Thank God for Kent Hovind setting me free. If it weren't for Kent Hovind, I would probably still be a Christian. Oh, easy body. So you gave up on Christianity because of me? No, you gave up on Christianity because of the lust in your life. You didn't want God telling you what to do. Is that right? I had nothing to do with it, okay? You wanted to give up on God. Please don't think all Christians are like Hovind. or have to believe young earth creation. By the way, Caleb, I'm not a young earth creationist. 6,000 is a long time, long time. It's hard to think about, Abe Lincoln, 150 years ago. That's a long time. How about Columbus trying to find this place? Yeah, that's 500 years ago. That's a long time. We celebrate Columbus Day. That's when the Indians discovered Columbus in their front yard. Can we help you, sir? Yeah. Okay. It's hard to think about 1,000 years ago with the Vikings running around killing people, isn't it? 6,000 is a long time. So I'm not a young earth creation. You guys are ludicrous, billions of years believers. That's not common sense. Anyway, he said, under 5% of Christians support this ridiculous view. Caleb, you're either ignorant, which can be fixed, or you're stupid, which probably cannot be fixed even with a 2x4. Let me explain it to you here, okay? He said, I wish the other 95% would do something about it and stop expecting us atheists to fix your problem. Well, this is from the National Center for Science Education, the atheist organization at Berkeley, California. And Jeannie, I'll debate you again anytime. Jeannie Scott, come on, bring it on, okay? Just how many young earth creationists are there? Answer begins with a question the Gallup poll has been asking since the early 80s. God created, one of the questions asking Gallup poll, do you believe God created human beings in their present form at one time within the last 10,000 years? 44% said yes. Let's see. Caleb, where did you get this baloney about only 5%? Gallup poll says it's 44%. Are you just making up numbers to try to make your position look secure? Yeah. Then, a couple of years later, they did another poll. It dropped to 37%. Support for pure creation dropped to 3 points to 37%. Okay. Are we talking about the same Kent? Can't fault his ability to remember random facts, but as to his ability to draw actual information and knowledge from those, let's just say those are puddles. They're puddles more in depth. I'll tell you what, John, call for a debate. Show the world how stupid I am, please. Joseph, watch this guy. 855 Big Dino, extension 4. Matter of fact, you got his email right there. Email him. Say, okay, you brave coward, keyboard warrior. I mean, come on, call for a debate. Show where there's no information coming from me. I show scientific evidence. Cows produce cows. But you want to believe cows and bananas are related, don't you? Yeah, I know. Given enough time. If you just imagine billions of years, it could happen. Well, that's not science. It's SpongeBob, imagination. Okay.
Can you just imagine it?
You got an audio clip? Can you just imagine? Is that SpongeBob talking? I've never seen SpongeBob. I'm sorry. Okay. Yep, he demolished everybody he's debated, RJ says. Let's see. None have any evidence for their opinions, such as last universal common ancestor, Luca, millions, billions of years. You can't prove this earth is billions of years old. There's all kinds of ways to prove it's not. You guys just imagine, because you need that time for your frog to turn to a prince. What kind of evidence would be satisfying to you? I assure you, I assume you have looked at the evidence that led to and has supported evolution theory. Who is this? Jur Haugen. I have looked for it. We used to offer $250,000 if somebody had some. There is no evidence for evolution. It's a religion. You believe in it, okay? Evolution is certainly not a religion. Well, I'm sorry. You're wrong. I'm right. It is a religion, okay? I'm afraid you have been fooled by Kent to believe it is. No, I've been telling the truth. How do we determine who wins a debate? Kent's an amazing debater and has lots of skills and tactics. He doesn't care about truth. Oh, no, Jur Haugen, you are lying, okay? All I want is the truth. And evolution is nothing, there's nothing true about it. Nobody sees any animal produce a different kind. Let's see. He cares about defending the Bible and misrepresenting all science. No, see, science, I love science, but evolution is not part of it. Evolution's mixed in with our science. And evolution should be thrown out. Nothing to do with science. I like science. I taught physical science, earth science, and biology for 15 years. I think I can hold my own pretty good on those topics. And there's no evidence of any animal ever producing babies other than their kind. You'll have to imagine it. Okay, that's all. Let's see. There's no time for his opponents to answer his gish gallop and nonsense. Oh, Jur Haugen, whatever you are. That's why I say one topic at a time. You call for a debate. Joseph, you enforce the rules one topic at a time. I don't gish gallop and go to 20 different topics. It's you guys that do that. Okay, the atheists and evolutionists, because they get stuck. Show me the best evidence for evolution, Jer Haugen, and whatever it is, and I will debunk it. Just the best. Bring it on. Okay. Here, I just typed in Kent Hovind shorts. How many are there up there, Joseph? A lot. A lot. Other people are taking clips, and please do. I want everybody to do this. Okay. I did a debate with Gutsick Gibbon. She claims she's an ape. She knows her family tree better than me, but she said, these are some of the comments from this one. Okay. I'm a Christian and glad Kent Hovind is given a platform, not because he's correct, but just so Christians can be challenged a little bit on their young earth creationism. And it's not all that great. Sounds like a fragment sentence there. Okay. I'm not young earth. 6,000 is a long time. And that's all you need to do everything in the world. If you throw in a big flood that made all the layers to the earth and the fossils. Kent Hovind, the man of many fallacies. Well, Paul, why don't you be specific? Show me specifically where exactly I've taught something that's wrong. Book him. Can you do him too? Or somebody else, all of you out there, email him. Is that his email right there? They got to put. No, it's just his YouTube handle. Oh, that wouldn't be YouTube handle. Might not be his email. Okay, never mind. All right. You got to love Kent. Only man I know who's been consistently wrong from the first day I've ever seen him, which goes back decades. Well, Joseph, I'm glad you're admitting you've been watching my stuff for decades. Thank you. It'll get to you, okay? I bet you have a hard time sleeping at night, don't you? His refusal to absorb anything in that time is astounding. How many times has he used that stupid car argument? Well, Gutsick Gibbon, I said, cars have round tires. This is an example of a good design that works better than square tires. And she said, well, cars don't reproduce. Okay, Gutsick and whoever we got here, Scandragon. Adding the ability to reproduce makes it even more complicated. I'm trying to give you guys a break. Just by saying Fords and Chevys have round tires, that's proof of a similar design that works. And humans have flexors and extenders to do their fingers, and so do apes. That's a good design because we have to grab things and they have to grab things. It's not proof of a relationship. Let's see. How many times has he been shown documented speciation events? 0. Unless you want to define the word species to mean a dog and a coyote are different species. How about a dog and a banana? Let's get something like that, okay? You have no evidence, truly stubbornness. Let's see. Kent is not capable of being honest. There you go again. Matt's calling me a liar. Well, show me some specifics. Come on, bring it on. I challenge you, okay? He can't understand any position other than his own. I understand your position better than you do. You believe you're related to a banana, don't you? You have a common ancestor with a banana. And you all came from a puddle, a cosmic soup, and which came from rocks being rained on. And that came from a big bang where nothing exploded. That's I can explain your position thoroughly. If you saw a self-replicating car, you'd think, wow, that's one hell of a mechanical engineer. Let me explain to you. Hell is a place, okay? That's like saying, wow, that's one Chicago of a mechanical engineer. Or that's one Dallas of an engineer. That's stupid. Why don't you guys learn some English? Hell is a place, okay? It's not an adjective. Don't get me started on that. Okay, one more, and I'll get some of your comments here. I just saw somebody put a short up of mine. Who was this? Full screen. What did I do? There. What's the name of that? I can't read it, Joseph. The name of the guy's channel. Trey the Great. Trey, Trey, the Great. Subscribe. Watch. He's been putting up some of my stuff on here. Let's see. This is just a 1-minute clip. This preacher called all the colleges and universities around Boston and said, would you like to have Kent Hovind come speak at your college? Finally, one professor said, yes, he can come speak at our school if our professors can ask him any questions they want, because we want to show our students how dumb these creationists really are. So the preacher called me and said, Brother Hovind, would you like to speak at this college and let them make fun of you for a couple hours? I said, I would be honored. So I showed up. There were 6 professors and all their students. You know, I felt like Daniel in the lion's den. I got my charts out and I said, now folks, I believe the Bible. Nobody cheered. I said, I believe about 6,000 years ago, God made everything. The world's not millions of years old. 4.6 billion years ago, there was a big flood. I'm sorry,
4,400 years ago, there was a big flood, not 4.6. And 2,000 years ago, Jesus came, and I gave them the basic Bible story, okay? Then I told them what they believe. Because most of them don't know what they believe, you have to tell them. You guys believe 20 billion years ago there was a big bang where this preacher called all the...
And it stops right there. Anyway, Trey, thank you so much. The evolution theory says 20, or now they're saying 13.7. It used to be, when I was doing these videos, it was 20, all the textbooks said 18 to 20 billion years ago. There was a big bang. They keep changing the number. They can, what's a few billion here and there, you know? That must be Democrats. Okay. So they believe 20 billion years ago there was a big bang. 4.6 billion years ago the Earth formed. It was a hard ball of rock, it was a bowl of molten hot rock. And then it cooled off and rained on the rocks for millions of years and turned them into soup, and the soup came alive. That's the theory of evolution. I cover it real carefully. So if you believe in evolution, why don't you just be honest? You think your grandpa was a rock. And how do you drive on the highway that's made out of your ancestors, for heaven's sake? Show some respect. I don't know how they do that, brother. Okay, questions or comments there? You got some? Question. If the universe began 6,000 years ago, how do we explain the issue with light traveling hundreds of thousands of years before we see distant stars? I'm a Christian and want to understand this. Okay? If you will go to my, let me come back over here. There we go. If you'll watch my video number 7, let me get that one open here. Seminar part 7, I give a long answer to the starlight question, but let me get it open. This only has 3,937 slides in that one, okay? You get all 50,000 of my slides on a thumb drive for $100. Okay. New Legacy, didn't want that one. Seminar part 7. I think I got to go. Right. Oh, now here we go. Slide number 10. Oh, UV 10. Is the starlight question on here? There we go. How do we see stars? How do we see stars billions of light years away? If the Earth is, fair question, very fair, and we got a real simple answer. The Bible says 17 times God stretched out the heavens. He stretched out the heavens. See, now God actually made the earth first on day 1. Then he made the stars on day 3. Read Genesis 1. So, thou hast made the heaven and the earth, the heaven of heavens, okay? Astronomers observe a star blowing up about every 30 years, called a nova, or if it's a big one, they call it a supernova, okay? If the universe is billions of years old, why are there less than 300 supernovas out there? They only found 300. There should be several hundred million of them. Are the stars wrong, or is the theory wrong? Good question, folks at ICR. Average supernova will occur about once every 50 years. A star explodes every second or so somewhere in the universe. And some of those aren't too far from Earth, from space.com. Drew likes peer-reviewed science. Is this good, Drew? Okay. How often do stars explode? Let's see. There are probably 1,000 supernovas every second. Wow, that's a lot of stars blowing up. I don't know if it's true or not. It's been estimated in our galaxy, there's a supernova every 50 years. Given that the Hubble telescope has detected 150 billion galaxies, this means on average there are 30 billion supernova explosions, invisible galaxies, every year. Well then, isn't that the opposite of what you guys need? Don't you need stars to form, not blow up? Is this like you're checking out, you know, if you spend enough money, you eventually get rich? Is that the logic here? Let's see. Although no supernova has been observed in the Milky Way since 1604, it appears that one exploded in Cassiopeia 300 years ago. Let's see, 3 or 4 reliable supernova in our galaxy. There they are, 1054, 1572, et cetera, okay? How many supernovas? Forget the supernova. Let me explain about the star. How do we see the star from that distance? Here's the problem, okay, so you understand it. Stars should be forming, not all blowing up. I don't know what slide number that is. Okay, come on. There you go. No, right there. I taught trigonometry, so let me explain this real simple. If you have 2 observation points looking at a third point, and you don't know how far away it is, but you would like to know, you measure the distance between your 2 observation points. That's called the known distance. Like you do this all the time when you look at things, because your eyes are a certain distance apart, and you can kind of tell when something's far away because your eyes toe in just a little bit, and the nerves in the back of the eyeball trigger the brain to say, oh, that's a long ways, or, you know, how far are you toed in toward cross-eye? So you can calculate an unknown distance using sine, cosine, tangent. It's really pretty simple, okay? So if you close one eye, you see it this way, close the other eye. This is a parallax trigonometry, okay? The Earth is about 8,000 miles across, which means if you had people on opposite sides of the Earth looking at something, the farthest away you can get from somebody is 8,000 miles. That's the farthest you can get away. So they get a bigger base for their triangle. They look at a star in January and look at it in June. Well, it's 93 million miles to the sun. That's 8 light minutes. So the distance across our orbit is 16 light minutes. So if we change this 16 light minutes to 16 inches, okay? A year has 525,000 minutes in it. So to measure one light year, if you had two astronomers, two people looking at a star, you don't know how far away it is, but you'd like to know. It actually is a light year away, 525,000 inches. That's 8 miles. And you have to look at opposite sides of Earth's orbit. That's a big circle. It's only 16 inches. That makes a real skinny triangle. And I don't think you can tell exactly where you were 6 months ago, but I'll give them that. I'll give them precisely where you were, okay? So a one light year triangle has an angle of 0.017 degrees. To measure 100 light years, you got to get two guys 16 inches apart, both looking at a dot 830 miles away. But they don't know it's 830 miles. Two guys in Pensacola, 16 inches apart, looking at a dot in Chicago, trying to calculate the distance. That's to measure 100 light years. And they make up these big numbers like this is 20 billion light years away. You don't know any such thing, okay? You don't believe that? It might be, but you simply can't know that, okay? How do we tell the distance to stars? Parallax trigonometry. Limitations. Only to go out 100 parsecs. Okay. Parsec. Let's see. What's the relationship between a light year, astronomical unit? 320. Okay, here we go. So they've tried to stretch it out a little bit by looking at a nearby star and going beyond that with again, parallax trigonometry. They say they can measure 100 light years. I don't believe that, but I'll give them 100. Okay. Parallax trigonometry, they can now go out even further, maybe. This is downloaded from, what was that? Space.com, right? Here's the problems involved. Watch my video 7 for more on this, okay? They said in 2004, 20 years ago, this accuracy, where is this? This new telescope will enable SIM to determine stellar distances 10% accurate, up to 10%, to a distance of 482,000 million miles. That is an improvement of several hundred times over what is possible. So before 1904, it was way less than this. They've improved it several hundred times, but that's only 82,000 light years. Guys, where are you getting these giant numbers? I think you're making them up, okay? So I think we serve a mighty God. He should get the credit. All right, let's see, right here. They're saying the universe is 13.7 billion years old. How on earth can you know that? Based on radiation left over from the Big Bang. That's assuming there was a Big Bang. 156 billion light years wide. How can the universe be 156 billion light years wide and only be 13 billion years old? The new finding implies the universe is instead 15.8 billion years old and about 180 billion years wide. They change the numbers all the time. All right. Here's the problem. All right, coming up. Scientists cannot measure beyond about 100 light years accurately. No one knows what light is. No, what is? Give me a jar of it. No one knows it travels the same speed through time, space, and matter. So I think you should look at that. Light was slowed down to 38 miles an hour back in, when was that? 1999. Huh. Dallas Morning News. In year 2000, they slowed light down to 1 mile an hour. Well, if you can slow it down and speed it up, how can you use that as a clock? They slowed light to a dead stop 24 years ago. That was at Harvard and Smithsonian. Let's see. They held light still. Fox News Channel ran an article. Then they speeded light up. Scientists claim they've broken the ultimate speed limit, the speed limit of light, to 300 times the speed of light. Done at Princeton through cesium gas. That's 25 years ago. So I don't think we can prove. These are the recorded measurements of the speed of light since 1865, I think, whenever they started measuring light speed using the rotating mirror method, I believe. Scientists slow light down. The atomic clock, 1956. Watch video 7. I have more time, okay? The speed of light was 10 billion times faster at time 0. Well, then how can you know how old the universe is? Guys, they don't get it, okay? Shocking possibility is the speed of light might change in time during the life of the universe. I agree. Speed of light may have changed, history study says. Nothing's reliable, not even the speed of light. A time-varying speed of light could resolve a well-known cosmological puzzle. It would only be possible for light to cross from one side to the other if it traveled much faster. Okay. It was so fast, it would have been traveling 186,000 miles a second multiplied by a figure with 70 zeros after it. You need a big calculator for that one, okay? Big keyboard, okay. Let's see, the closer we get to the Big Bang, the speed of light approaches infinity. See, they know there's a problem here, and it's simple to solve. 17 times in the Bible, it says God stretched out the heavens. Right here, got them on here somewhere. No. The creation was finished. It was mature. Adam and Eve were full grown. He didn't make 2 babies in the garden. How old was Adam on day 1? 0. Well, day 6. Okay. He didn't give them seeds and say plant them. The world's already full. I think it was a mature creation, stars already in place. A light year is a distance. It's not a time. And the speed of light is not proven to be consistent. So why would a star distance have anything to do with the age of the universe? Could it be 7 billion light years away and have been made yesterday? How could you know? We find the absolute age of stars by comparing the star's color and brightness with those in the model. Oh, so you have a model of evolution and you compare it with your model, and therefore that's now science. This makes no sense. Everybody's asking, how did the light get here from the star? Wrong question. It says God stretched out the heavens. He stretched out the heavens. On day 4, he made the stars. On day 1, he made the earth. So he stretched them out from here to there. So anyway, that's a long answer to the short question. Any couple more there, Joseph? Okay. But don't worry, starlight does not prove the universe is billions of years old. I assume God does not live in darkness if he exists. His Bible says he is light. Okay. If he exists outside of time, shouldn't light also exist outside of time? Well, maybe God is light and there's okay. The word light, just in our language, has at least 2 different meanings. That is a light and it produces light. God can be light, and he made the sun, moon, and stars to be light for the earth. So I don't think your question's valid there, Anders. Okay? Go ahead. Next one. What do you say about electric model of the sun? Not sure what that is. I think the sun's a big burning ball of fuel, and they're burning 5 million tons a second. Big nuclear reactor. You need to come to Pittsburgh, Texas. Have an Ezekiel airship exhibit. Oh, I'd like to see that. Take a video. I don't have time to travel, okay? I'm astounded how well you lay out your arguments. God truly bless you. I research much of you have been persecuted and confirms you are teaching the truth. Well, thank you, Tom. Yes, believe me, the devil didn't like me at all. Okay. Nicholas, hope you and the crew are doing well. My question is, are storms or heat better? I cannot decide. So I would love surfing on a storm or relaxing on a Bahama. I don't think it'd be too wise to surf in front of some of the storm waves. You can try it. People have tried it. Some actually live to tell about it. Not too many, but. I can't hear you. What? Is on topic and its evolution? Sure. Go ahead.
Hello, Kent.
Hi. I know you're calling in to announce you got converted.
No, not today.
Okay. You better before you die. I would highly recommend it, but go ahead.
This, measuring using parallax. Now, you've been told, you don't use parallax to measure very distant stars. You use standard candles.
So you're telling me you can tell how far away a star is by how bright it is. Are all the stars in the universe burning at the same brightness right now, regardless of
No,
their
you
distance?
use type 1a supernova. And it's the same as the inverse square law applies. And you know that it applies to light.
Okay, now just
Same-
slow down now. You're telling me that you can tell how far away a star is by how bright it is. Is that your position?
Type 1a supernova. Yeah, that's a
Just
standard
yes or no,
candle.
then.
If,
So you can tell by how the luminosity, the candle power of that star determines the distance. That wouldn't that be assuming that you already know what type star it is? How do you know what type star it is?
the type 1a supernova, and using the inverse square law, you seem to be all over the inverse square law when you talk about the moon.
I
Okay,
understand
so
it, yes.
now, but now you're going to deny it when it comes to starlight.
I'm not denying anything. I understand the inverse square law. It's got nothing to do. My question was, you are claiming that you can tell the distance to a star based on how bright it is. And you can tell what type of star it is.
Yes, yeah, the scientists know very well how to measure the distance of a star using the brightness, using the standard candle.
Okay, let's assume that we do know the distance to the star. Does that therefore tell us the age? How long it took the light to get here? Wouldn't that be assuming that the speed of light's always been consistent?
Well, if you want to mess with the speed of light, you know that E equals mc squared, right?
I understand. Yep.
So M equals E divided by c squared. You adjust C,
Einstein's theory, right? This formula, yep.
right? Yeah. If you manipulate C, you change the value for mass as well. To
Well,
get
hold it.
starlight from the edge of the visible universe to the Earth, you're going to have to increase the speed of light by 2.3 million, a factor of 2.3 million. You do that, you increase the mass as well, and you affect the mass, you're going to destroy the universe. It's a bad approach.
Well, yeah, I think you have a bad approach, correct. I think Einstein's formula, E equals mc squared, the energy is the mass times the speed of light squared. I think that was just an example. I don't think that's an exact number. You're saying the speed of light squared is exactly, that's just an example of how much energy and mass, how they're related to each other. He
Well,
could have
then
said
you-
E equals MC, he could have said
Well,
E
then
equals
you
MC cubed.
real math, you can go collect, you prove Einstein wrong, and collect your Nobel Prize.
I'm not saying he was wrong. I'm saying he was giving an example of how much energy and mass, how they're related. The
Right.
energy is equal to the mass times this huge number squared. He could have said E equals mc cubed. And still, we get the point across. You don't know that it's exactly mc speed of light squared, do you? Does anybody know that? How could you know that?
Well, then I guess, like I said, you do the math. Show us the real math. Show us the Hovind math and how it gives better predictions and gives better results than, relativity.
Well, first of all, I will say mass, I can take a pile of wood and burn it and produce energy.
That's a
Can you then
chemical
take-
reaction.
Can you take the energy and produce mass? Show me any place where energy has been used to produce mass. Just energy.
The Hadron Collider.
The Hadron Collider is taking energy and producing mass from it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, I think I'd have to disagree. I'll look into that more, but it doesn't
Okay, look
matter.
into it. Now, as far as this speeding the light up and down, that 1999 paper, it was talking about the group velocity, which is what's happening actually inside the wavelength, or the phase velocity. And that's light when it passes through a medium. The front velocity, C, was not changed in that paper. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about increasing either the group or the phase velocity. So the front velocity, or C, no, that was not changed.
Okay,
So
well, I would ask you to go to icr.org. They've got a couple of physicists on that staff there, ICR, Institute for Creation Research, and read the articles they've done on this topic. But I want to look at a little bigger picture here. All of your argument is only to try to rescue time. You need billions of years. Okay, I'll give you billions of years. How do you turn an amoeba into a whale over trillions or quadrillions of years? You're only trying to rescue time because you know how desperately you need time. Okay, for the moment, I'll say, I'll give you billions of years. Now, where's the evidence of evolution is what I want to talk about. Because all you're doing tonight is trying to say, well, we got time because it took time for the starlight to get here. I think I just showed plenty of papers where that's not necessarily the case, but it's a minor point compared to the bigger picture. Where's the evidence for evolution? That's the title of tonight's program. Evolution is a religion, and it's dangerous and it's dumb, so it should prove me wrong.
Well, you can go to Google Scholar, enter evolution into the search engine, and you're going to get tens of thousands of papers which present evidence for evolution. Now, looking at evolution, how is it defined? It is the change of allele frequencies in populations due to herited descent. So what are you arguing? Are you saying alleles are not a thing, that they don't exist?
Oh, no, I didn't say that.
Okay, do they change variation in populations?
You are starting with living things.
That's right. That's how that's what evolution is.
That's
A
what
theory,
I said at the beginning.
a scientific theory will look at one particular phenomenon. Every scientific theory is not meant and is certainly not a theory of everything. If it is to look at germ theory of disease, you don't have to explain the origin of the universe to explain how germs cause disease, right?
Mm-hmm.
So evolution is not a theory designed to teach the origin of the universe. It's not a theory that handles a theory. It's not a theory of everything. It is a theory that explains variation of life here on Earth. It doesn't deal with abiogenesis. That's something different. Certainly doesn't deal with the origin of the universe.
Well, this is why I say it's a fairy tale. Let's imagine a princess on an island loaded with food and living in a golden castle. And let's start our story from there. No. Where'd the island come from? Where'd the princess come from? How'd she get a golden castle? You guys want to start with things because it is part of your theory. How did life get started?
Different theories.
You want to skip that. I know why, and I know why.
They are different theories. And if you go to a biology conference, you will not see a physicist there giving presentations on the origins of the universe or physics. You will see biologists talking about biology, and none of them are going to mention Big Bang cosmology or any of that. It's not covered, and vice versa. If you go to a physics conference, they're going to be talking about the supernova. They're going to be talking about Big Bang, perhaps. They're not going to be talking about biological evolution. Different disciplines, different theories. It's not all one big thing.
Okay, who is Lawrence Krauss? You know that name?
Yes, he's a physicist, yes.
Just as biological evolution is the heart of biology, cosmic evolution is the heart of modern cosmology.
Right, he's just talking about evolution in a colloquial sense as change over time.
Look what he said here, okay? This is in Evolution, Education, Outreach, Volume 3, page 193 through 197. Biological evolution requires the products of cosmic evolution. Yes, they are tied together.
They're tied together in science. Science as a broad study. They're tied together in science, not in the same theory.
So evolution, even changing in allele frequency to turn. I agree. There's variations within the same kind. There are different types of dogs. Do you mean that is enough to convince you that dogs are related to cabbage? Do you believe you are related to cabbage?
All life is related as a universal common ancestor. That is where the evidence is leading us. And if you look at the genetics, it's going to confirm that.
So let me summarize your answer. Yes, you believe you are related to cabbage, don't you? You have a
we're both eukaryotes, are we not?
Why can't you just say yes? You're related to cabbage. We're both attracted by gravity.
I've been saying that. I've been saying that from the beginning. I said we are both eukaryotes. In that way, we are related, in that we are both a member of the clade Eukaryota.
Hold it. Now, me and this
like cabbage.
Hang on, we're both attracted by gravity. So that proves we're related.
Being attracted by gravity is not is not something you inherit in your genes. Rocks and feathers and whatever is all, any type of matter is going to be attracted by gravity. That is not a
All right. Well,
synapomorphy.
let me just leave you with this here. It is my position that there are 6 different levels or stages of evolution. If you don't like it, too bad.
Well, it's not. That's not what is being taught in schools. That is something that you made up, and you are always talking about how you don't want this, thus, and so to be taught in the textbooks. Well, rest easy, Kent. You can rest easy tonight because none of that, what you teach about the 6 levels, is being taught in the universities. None of it is being taught in the textbooks. So you can sleep easy tonight.
Okay, good. I'm surrounded by textbooks and I can show you clearly it is, okay? They do teach in biology books. I got, 20 of them right here. They teach, they have the Big Bang in there. Why is the Big Bang in a biology book? Why don't you help me get that out?
Show. I want to see the reference.
Well, come on down. I got a huge collection. How many? I don't know how many. Several hundred biology, earth science, physical science books. I love those things.
Okay, it might be a physical science book. Some science books cover a broad range of different disciplines of science.
Here we go. Prentice Hall. Just grab one off the shelf, okay? Join Prentice Hall. Do they talk about the Big Bang in the Prentice Hall biology book? Let me get to the index here. Let's see. The nature of chemistry, chemical evolution. Yeah.
Right. Look again, a colloquial term, change over time. We can talk about the evolution of dance. We can talk about the evolution of the Corvette, or in that way, evolution is used as a common term. Now, in biology, the theory of evolution, we're talking about the change of allele frequencies in populations by means of herited descent. That's what. For the theory of evolution, that's what we're talking about.
Okay,
you're using not the broad term.
Okay, I understand that my chart showing the 6 different levels of evolution triggers you guys because it exposes the giant gaping hole you have in your logical sequence to get from nothing to living things. And I do it because it triggers you guys, and I enjoy watching you guys get triggered. It is part of the theory. You have to have something to explode. And I keep saying, where did time, space, matter?
It's a part of science.
It's not part of
now,
science.
I don't mind talking about the Big Bang, but we're talking about physics. I don't mind talking about star formation.
Well, tell me, if you don't mind talking about Big Bang, what exploded and where did it come from and what was before that?
Well, it wasn't really an explosion in the way you mean it. It's an expansion. Although the Big Bang theory explains this. How the universe was once in a hot, dense state, and it explains how it got from a small, hot, dense state to its present cool and sparse state. And you can look it up, and I have. It does not address the cause of the universe. It does not try to address where the energy came from or any of that. Just like the germ theory of disease does not try to do any of that. The tectonic plate theory, where do those tectonic plates come from? Now we got to go all the way back to the Big Bang to understand tectonic plates. No, we don't.
Okay. So you want to start with your princess on the island in a golden castle and then go from there. I understand. Here, look at this. European Space Agency. Let's see. Joseph, blow that up so everybody can see that, would you? This is European Space Agency. Time, space, and matter all began with the Big Bang. In a fraction of a second, the universe grew from smaller than a single atom to bigger than a galaxy. And it kept on growing at a fantastic rate. And it's still expanding today. Do you believe that?
Well, that's what the physics are telling us. And as far as the space and time are intermixed. That's why they call it space-time. Okay.
Anyway, all right.
So in matter is comes from E equals mc squared, m equals E divided by c squared. Energy and matter are also intermixed. In the beginning, there was no matter. We've gone over this before. It's pure energy, a plasma of some kind. It's a radiation, right?
And where did it come from? Where did the energy come from?
The Big Bang, I don't know. The Big Bang does not even try to address that. Now, there are science.
So we got our princess on the island in a golden castle, and you want to start from there.
In all these, the story like the princess on the island and the castle, you don't need to know who built the castle to tell the story, do you?
That's why evolution's a story. It's not science. Science
is science. It makes predictions, accurate predictions, and create your creationism. The Hovind model does not.
It sure does. I predict cows will always have baby cows, no exceptions. I predict giraffes will always have baby giraffes with no exceptions. That's quite a prediction. We got a cow up on the North 40 that's pregnant right now. I bet you $500 she will have a calf, not a kitten. She's up there with the sheep, and she's up there with the donkeys and the raccoons and the possums. But I'll bet you $500 it'll be a calf when it comes out. You want to take me up on that bet?
What we're talking about, Kent, is that cows giving birth to cows, that's the law of monophyly, right? Science does not say that they won't. I'm not looking for areas where we agree. I'm looking for areas where we disagree. Now, as far as that being a prediction, that's a prediction in the same way I would say, when it rains, I predict the ground is going to get wet. That's not a scientific prediction. A prediction is stating something we don't know already, something we have not observed already. Cows giving birth to cows is something that we have observed for as long as we've been around. That is not a prediction.
You're getting it. That's all. God said in his word 20 times in the first 7 chapters, all the plants and all the animals will bring forth after their kind. Do you know of any exceptions to that we've seen? Not that you can imagine. What have we seen where any plant or animal ever produced something other than its kind? Why do you think it happened in the past? Do you think this chart teaches the students that an amoeba or a protozoa or whatever you want to start with, a single-celled creature, slowly evolved into a whale? Would you have to add something to the amoeba to turn it into a whale? Wouldn't there quite a few things have to be added to turn it into a whale? You know, like lots of things. Where's the examples of that happening? Amoeba.
You mean you're not going? You're going to go? Are you talking about going from single cell to multi-cell? Because we've already we've been over. Well, that's where it begins. And evolution doesn't say an amoeba is going to like explode into a whale, does it? So it says, you know, you're going to make small, gradual changes, and to get from point A to Z, right? We see Chlamydomonas. A single cell algae. We see it go from single cell to multi-cell by introducing a predator, right?
And that's enough to make you believe it eventually could turn it into a whale.
That's enough to believe that we do indeed have mechanisms by which single cell can evolve to multi-cell, true multi-cell with a
way over time. Call in next time. Let's take up this some more. I try to go with 30-minute programs. It's been an hour. Okay, so I've been very generous here.
Well, thank you for entertaining me, Kent.
Yeah, and it is entertaining.
Appreciate it.
I love it.
Yeah, you're very funny.
We're going to eat your cousins tomorrow for lunch, cabbage. I'm sorry about that. All right.
Okay.
Bye. Okay. Thank you, folks. Come join us at Dinosaur Adventureland for boot camp 2 weeks from today. Starting. See you then.